Hi, everybody. My name is Dominic Dinardo. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Aforza. I thought I'd just give a couple of words on what I think is going to happen in 2025 and explain a little bit about the impact of artificial intelligence in the consumer goods industry. You see, in the consumer goods industry, there's a great chart here from McKinsey, which shows how the S&P 500, that's like the top companies in the world, compares to the CPG industry over the last quarter of a century. Now, in the first part of the century, what was amazing was you got, like, for people who were investing in consumer goods companies, you got very predictable growth, very predictable margins, and the shares, the share value or the return on investment was like a really good thing. And as the century develops, as you get into the teens, that starts to become a little bit more elusive. They were trying to make up, the margins by trying to cut costs. And of course, the COVID era kind of throws a massive brick in the proverbial pond, and you start to see lots of challenges around growth and margin control, and of course, supply chain crises, inflationary crises, and all sorts of other things happened. Energy crises during war. Like the era of inflation came about, and then for consumer goods companies, it's a really difficult period because, of course, you get caught in this squeeze between the reality of the world and the costs that you have to live in, and then trying to show either margin control or growth in some ways. Like it's hard. It's a really, really tough time. But now, I think as we look towards 2025, I really expect everyone to try to change the dynamics here and to actually really go for both growth in revenues as well as growth in profits. I think that's going to happen. And the good thing about this is what makes it interesting today is that I think that the advent of artificial intelligence actually makes these kind of opportunities much more viable, actually just truly feasible. And to explain a little bit, I think everybody probably who's playing a podcast like this or playing this video is probably familiar with some level of familiarity with like ChatGPT, Gemini, Copilot, and many other AI technologies. And the thing that most people have experienced is at the baseline level, very simple use cases of like, help me write an email, help me write a letter, help me write a blog post, or perhaps even write a narrative or script for a video like this. But what they find them as productivity boosters, but doesn't really change the game yet. And this is where I think vertical AI in the consumer goods industry, as opposed to horizontal AI, is going to make a big, big difference. And let me explain for a couple of seconds why that is. You see, unlike those horizontal AI use cases, which are helpful, like I described earlier, vertical AI really zooms in specific things you try to do in the consumer products industry. And by examining facets of this, let's take a couple of examples like, tell me my poorest performing promotions last year, or tell me my poorest performing promotions in Britain and give me some recommendations for improvement, or what are my top accounts and what promotions should they be, like kind of directed specifics that require a lot of business context, industry specificity. When you take all of that and you give the users of these systems differentiated user experience, so they might be multimodal, they might speak to it, they might be using photography, image analysis, all sorts of multimodal use cases that actually make a lot of sense when you're at the, inside a supermarket or a bar or whatever the context of where your customers buy the products are, perhaps a pharmacy, but wherever that might be, that user experience being matched to the environment you're in is very, very important. Then, of course, it's smarter decisions. So asking the system with all of that context to give you recommendations for, please draft me an order for this customer, for example, ways to maximize margin, to maximize revenue, smarter decision support to augment your staff as it is really, really important. And of course, because of all of that, because your staff now have the ability to be more efficient and more effective, there is a definite impact on your labor costs. And so you basically get more bang for your buck. Well, however you deploy your resources and things, you now have more control. The reasons I just said, that did increase your order margins. It does give you the chance to grow your revenues. So the application of vertical AI is going to be very, very impactful. And I think we'll start to see this technology, I know from speaking from the Aforza perspective, start to really come to bear in the first quarter of 2025. So companies looking to change that dynamic on growth and on margin with this technology, they'll find like very quickly a very strong complement. And then I think what will happen rapidly is people will start to think about who does what and how do I exploit the value from this? Because I think what you'll see is, like in everything in life, there'll be those people who are believers, they'll adopt this kind of technology quite quickly. Some people will be skeptics, and probably in most companies, you're going to find a spectrum of people with different beliefs. And so people will look for ways to try this out, to trial it. But when you're writing the business case or trying to explain to your chief financial officer why this is a wise investment, what we've figured out is to go to like a really strong level of detail on who exactly is it we're looking at, what's the persona. We take these 5 business drivers, the differentiated user experience, the smart decision making and so forth, and we apply it to the roles and contexts. And then you'll find that if you do that, you can start to figure out how to build your business case, understand the impact. So actually, I just realized this entire podcast, I've done it off one web page that I would highly recommend. You can see it here probably at the top of the page, this building your business case for vertical ag consumer goods. So highly recommend going to that page. But to summarize, for 2025, what do we see? We're going to see consumer product companies looking to achieve higher than recent rates of growth, higher than recent margins and profit. And the way they can attain that is by applying vertical AI. That's going to give you the efficiency and effectiveness boosters that are going to let you achieve those numbers. Look forward to getting all your feedback and see you in 2025.